Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to explain how to make your own homemade paper sizing. In my previous video, for which I will put a link on the top right of the screen now, as well as at the end of this video, I explained all about watercolor paper sizing. Essentially, sizing is a material that is applied to your paper so that it behaves as it should when painting with watercolor. On the right here, I've got paper that has got good sizing, and you can see that as I work with it, I put the water down, the water glistens on the surface of the paper, and it allows me to put the watercolor paint down easily. It spreads evenly and gives me time to work with the watercolor. On the other hand, the paper on the left with the damaged sizing, when I put the water down, it almost acts like a sponge. The paper absorbs the water almost entirely and immediately. When I put the paint down, it also gets sucked into the paper and is very difficult to spread. And upon drying, the damaged sizing paper has a lot more desaturation in its color than the good sizing, which is still vibrant. So all is not lost when our watercolor paper sizing is damaged. In this video, I'll explain how to make your own homemade watercolor sizing to try and salvage damaged paper. All that you're going to need to make your sizing is a small saucepan, a cup and a tablespoon measure, water and gelatine. I'm going to start by taking 1 cup of water at room temperature straight from the tap and put that into the pot. After that, I'm going to measure out 1 tablespoon of gelatin powder and put that into the pot. Then I'm going to stir to try and dissolve the gelatin in the water as much as I can. The gelatin is a little bit reluctant to dissolve at room temperature, but I'm just going to stir it to try and get rid of the lumps and get it to dissolve as much as I can. Now I'm going to let it sit on the countertop for 5 minutes just to allow the gelatin to bloom. 5 minutes has passed now and I can already feel it starting to thicken up in the saucepan. I'm now going to take 1 more cup of boiling water and add that to the pot now. Then I'm going to transfer the saucepan onto the stove and I'm going to heat this mixture very gently. It's very important that we only heat it gently at this stage and that we don't allow the water to boil. If the water does boil, then it breaks down the protein bonds inside the gelatin and it loses the properties that we're looking for in the paper sizing. So over a very low heat, I'm just going to heat the mixture gently and continuously until I can see that the gelatin is entirely dissolved. Then I'm going to remove it from the heat and allow it to cool to room temperature. It takes about an hour. Now I'm going to pour my mixture into an old jar. And then I'm going to seal it with the lid and leave it overnight to set. After leaving just on the countertop overnight, you can see how it has set into a very jelly-like consistency. What I'm then going to do is apply that to watercolor paper whose sizing is damaged. I'm going to put it on with a teaspoon and then use a brush to break up the lumps and slowly spread it evenly over the surface of the paper. This might take a while, but I just use my brush to keep on breaking up the lumps and spreading it evenly over the paper. I would advise though that when you are finished using your sizing, to store the jar inside the fridge, otherwise it's going to get a little bit moldy. And also it doesn't last forever. I would prepare it and then use it within a week. Once the sizing is completely smoothed out on the page, I'm going to allow it to dry completely. And here you can see 2 comparative samples from the same sheet of paper. On this one, the sizing is damaged. You can see how dull it is and how the paint has even bled through to the other side of the paper. On the other hand, you can see how the homemade sizing has greatly improved the second sample. The colors are a lot more vibrant and it hasn't bled through to the back of the page. So here is my recipe for the homemade sizing, and I'll also put it in the description box below. I really hope that you have found this video useful, and if you have, I'd appreciate it if you would click the like button. I'm going to put the link to the detailed video on watercolor paper sizing and how to identify if your paper sizing is damaged on the screen now, and you can click it and go to the video now. Until next time, bye for now.